Michael, as much as we all hoped you and Chloe would stay together, marriage just wasn't in the cards for you. Take a look at this clip.
I made a promise to you that I would not make this decision until I was sitting right here looking at you. And I'm really glad I made that promise because I'm feeling really differently than I anticipated feeling. And I think I want to see if we have more story to tell.
I feel that I have to lean into what my compass has been, and that's just how I feel about the ability to develop and work on a marriage. Mm-hmm. And I just don't feel that I can do that.
How was that watching? You look like you're getting a little emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I was emotional in the moment. Like, the right decision doesn't always feel like the right decision. Mm-hmm. And it was hard, and as much like hurt that I knew I was gonna have in that moment, I felt like it would hurt more if I tried to power through it and not honor how I felt.
Yeah.
And I felt like ultimately that would have been a disservice to her, that would have been a disservice to our relationship. But that doesn't mean like I felt good about it.
After she says yes, what are you thinking in that moment?
I was a little surprised. I mean, I know she felt where I was leaning. Mm-hmm. And like she chose to show a level of vulnerability that despite that, she was
gonna continue to try through decision day.
And there's regardless of how I feel, there's something very admirable about that. And you talk about avoidant attachment style and like self-sabotage. Like whether I agree with it or not, I understand where that perspective comes from. Yeah. And I think one thing I wish that I would have done better at is kind of talking through what is our success criteria.
Okay. Do you know what's funny? And I don't want to cut you off because Chloe said very much the same thing. When she was here last week, she said she felt like the two of you should have done a better job of communicating that to one another.
I would agree. I think we were both, and it's kind of crazy to hear that she said that, because I think we were both so locked in on being present. We almost defied our instincts, right? Because I think both of our instincts are like, you should have this conversation, right? Like, you should talk about what does success look like to you, right? Like, oh, there's these doubts or these challenges, but I think we felt like we felt like a paramount thing to this experience is being present in the moment.
And it is. I don't feel that there's a space for you to second guess or criticize the choices that you made in those moments to be present. And I appreciate that if you knew that you weren't ready, that you allowed her to go to find her person.
Right.
Well, all right, that is all that we have time for this season. But before we go, here's a sneak peek of next week's Married at First Sight, former cast tell-all.
Next week on Married at First Sight.
I was actually called the BITCH word. This is Cast Tell All of a new man.
Now and then we'll make whoopee together.
I'm here with some of my favorite Mass alumni. What's new with you? Besides the baby who have seen it all and are here to spill the tea, honey.
He was taking a secret medication that he hid from me.
I literally was flabbergasted, like my mouth dropped on the floor.
Wow, you really can't make this stuff up.
Who's sliding into your DM?
You just need to grab a boob or grab a...
This is too much. I need to get off this stage.
Woo! And it continues. Becca, Michael, and Emily, thank you so much for joining me at the after party this season. And thank you to everyone at home for following along these journeys with me. That's it for this season of Married at First Sight After Party, but tune in next week for the Married at First Sight former cast tell-all special.